यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Nitai Gorango Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Sachi Mata Pran Dhan Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Patita Pavan Gaura Hari Jai Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai Gurudev Jai Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। जय श्री निताय गौरांग भगवान की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, श्रीला गुरुदेव की। हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we are reading from Canto 11, Chapter 7, Text 42, chapter entitled Lord Krishna Instructs Uddhava. Recite the verse. Antarhitasta sthira jangameshu. Antarhitascha sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Antarhitasta sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Antarhitascha sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Antarhitascha sthira jangameshu. Samanvayena. Vyaptyavachedam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Antarhitascha sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Antarhitascha sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Mataji. Antarhitasta sthira jangameshu. Brahmatma bhavena samanvayena. Vyaptya vyavachedam asangam atmano. Munirnabhastam vitatasya bhavet. Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki. First word-to-word meaning, Antarhita, present within, Cha, also, Sthira, all non-moving living bodies, Jangameshu, and all moving forms of life, Brahma Atma Bhavena, by realization that he himself is pure spirit, Samanvayena, as a result of the different contacts with different bodies, Vyaptya, because of being all pervading, Apyavachedam, the feature of being undivided, Asangam, being unattached, Atmana, possessed by the super soul, Muni, a sage, Nabhastvam, the similarity with the sky, Vidatasya, of the expansive, Bhavayet, should meditate upon. Translation: a thoughtful sage, even while living within a material body, should understand himself to be pure spirit soul. Similarly, one should see that the spirit soul enters within all forms of life, both moving and non-moving, and that the individual souls are thus all pervading. The sage should further observe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the super soul, is simultaneously present within all things. Both the individual soul and the super soul can be understood by comparing them to the nature of the sky. Although the sky extends everywhere and everything rests within the sky does not mix with anything, nor can it be divided by anything. Purport: although air exists within the sky or space is different from air. Even in the absence of air, space or sky is present. All material objects are situated within space or within the vast material sky, but the sky remains undivided, and although accommodating all objects, never actually mixes with anything. In the same way, one can understand the situation of both the individual soul and the super soul. The individual soul is all pervading because there are innumerable jivatmas which enter within all things. Yet, as confirmed in Vedic literature, each individual atma remains infinitesimal. The Svetasvatara Upanishad 5.9 states, Balagra Sata Bhagasya Satada Kalpitasya Cha Bhago Jiva Sa Vijneya Sa Chanantaya Kalpate. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. The same is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Keshagra Sata Bhagasya Satatmasa Sadrasatmaka Jiva Suksma Swarupa Ayam Sankhaya Tito Hi Chitkana. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is all pervading because He Himself is personally present everywhere. The Lord is known as Advait or indivisible. Thus, the same unique personality of Godhead exists everywhere, just like the sky, and yet is not attached to anything, although everything is resting within Him. The Lord Himself has confirmed this analysis of His all-pervasiveness in Bhagavad Gita 9.6. Yatha kasa sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani mat sthaniti upadharaya. As the almighty wind blowing everywhere always rests in ethereal space, know that in the same manner all beings rest in me. Therefore, although both the Jiva soul and the super soul are said to be all pervading, it should be remembered that there are innumerable individual Jiva souls, whereas there is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is always supreme, and one who is actually a thoughtful sage never doubts the supreme position of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Let us say the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshur Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamascha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paschat Desh Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tuse Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Neelachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagarnathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Titanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings at the lotus feet of all the devotees so that I can say something for the pleasure of the Lord, for the glorification of the Lord, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and his glorification, and for my personal purification. So we'll discuss whatever we have understood by reading Prabhupada's book and by hearing from all the senior devotees. So this chapter where Lord Krishna is instructing Uddhava. So now we are in that section where the Abdut Brahman is saying to Maharaj Yadu, King Yadu, that 24 his teachers are there. So we have already discussed that whatever lessons he have learned from the earth, from air, today we are starting, or Brahman is discussing about the lesson which we are learning from the sky. So if we refer the translation, so 3 important points is mentioned in this translation. First of all is that, says that learned sage. First important thing that we have to understand that we are the spirit soul. That's the first point he talks about. Second point in the translation, he talks about the super soul, that we have to understand who is the super soul, how super soul is pervading. And then the third point is when he starts comparing the soul and most importantly the super soul with the sky. Sky basically with the nature of the sky. So just like what we understand here is that because the sky always remains without any contamination, uncontaminated sky is there. Sky is too vast, and the sky, like it takes everything. Like everything is situated where it is situated within the sky. That is what is being told here. The air is there within the sky. All the material objects are there. Whatever will fly, cloud also flies, aeroplane also flies. Everything there is situated within the sky. But in spite of that, the sky remains undivided. Nothing like, it's not that some rocket, like yesterday rocket was launched, it's not that rocket will penetrate the sky and will divide the sky. That is not going to happen. Sky will remain always one only. And everything rests within the sky only. Similarly, soul nature is the soul always is undivided. Soul can never be divided. Soul always is pure, like the sky is always remain without contamination. We never hear about air pollution. We never hear about sky pollution, right? Because the sky never gets polluted. The sky always reflects blue color, like we see. Once Prabhupada was saying that the color of the sky is blue because what is Krishna's color? Because Krishna is bluish in complexion. That is why sky's color is also blue. Whatever the effulgence, whatever we are seeing, that is also coming from where? From the spiritual sky, from Krishna's body it is coming. So once one incident happened that when Krishna used to steal the butter, we all know the pastime. So once some gopi said that it is that Krishna steals the butter, we know. So sometimes we try to hide the butter pot in some dark places, somewhere we try to hide. But in spite of that, Krishna goes and he is able to find out where the butter is kept, and he is stealing the butter from that place. So they thought that how come Krishna is going to dark places also? So then they concluded that because Krishna has so many ornaments on his body, so many ornaments, jewels, earrings, everything is there in Krishna's body, and because that ornaments are something like light is coming, rays is coming from the ornaments, that is why the dark place also become effulgent. That is why Krishna is able to see that where the butter pot is kept, and he is able to go, he is going there and he is stealing the butter. So what was the solution? They thought that let us tell to Mother Yashoda that all the ornaments, everything should be removed from Krishna's body. So everything was removed from Krishna's body. He was not wearing any ornaments, but still Krishna was able to go to the dark place and find where the butter has been kept, and he used to steal the butter. Then finally everyone saw that it was not the jewels or ornaments which was reflecting or which was effulgent. Actually the rays were coming from Krishna's own body. Krishna's body was effulgent. From there the rays were coming. That is why everything was getting illuminated, and Krishna could see anything, everything, and he used to like take the butter wherever the butter is kept. So that everything, whatever we see in the material world also, that is also coming from Krishna only. The only problem is that we are not able to understand it or appreciate it. So now if we start reflecting upon this verse, so the first, if we go to the translation, so the first statement what is mentioned here in the translation is that a thoughtful sage, even while living within the material body, should understand himself to be pure spirit soul. So that understanding is very, means you can say, it is the most important understanding we should be having. Because unless and until we understand that who we are, what is our actual constitutional position, we cannot understand that what is supremely beneficial for us. So once we start understanding that we are Nitai Gaurang Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So once we understand that who we are original eternal spirit soul, then we start thinking that what is going to be best in our life, and then we start moving in that particular direction. So that is why in Bhagavad Gita we see that when Arjuna is completely confused, he does not want to fight, he gives different reason. First of all, he thinks that all his relatives he sees, so he develops compassion. Then he thinks that all his relatives, brothers are going to be killed, then with whom he is going to enjoy. Then if everyone is killed, then what will happen to their family members, to their children and all. Then he thinks about their sinful reactions, and he is like completely like in a state where he is not able to decide what is good for him, what is bad for him. Then in 2.7 he surrenders to Krishna, that he said, Karpanya dosha pahato shobhava prichami tam tham samudar cheta yas sriyasan visitan rohitan me sisyaste aham sadi mam tam prapannam. That I am not going, I am completely surrendering myself unto you, and you tell me what is good for me and you give me the right direction. So when Krishna starts instructing Arjuna, then immediately the first instruction what he gives to Arjuna is that to understand that you are not this body, but you are the spirit soul. And in chapter 2, verse after verse, like especially the beginning of the second chapter, like from 2.12 onwards, many verses Krishna keeps on quoting that you are not this body, but you are a spirit soul. So when Arjuna had this confusion that everyone is going to die, then the first verse of Krishna quotes is that Natte vaham jato nasam nattom neme janadipa na chaivana bhavishyama sarve vaya mataparam. There was never a time I did not exist. There was never a time you did not exist. There was never a time all these kings were assembled there, all the souls did not exist. And there is never going to be a time in the future when no one is going to exist. This is the first verse Krishna quotes to Arjun, says to Arjun. So here he is establishing that as a soul, you are eternal, all the kings, everything is eternal. That is what Krishna is trying to emphasize. Then again, we can reflect upon these verses. We might have read it many times, but again and again, if we reflect, then our understanding becomes more clear. When Krishna talks about that, Dehino ismin yatha dehe kamaram yobhanam jara, tatha dehantra praptir dhiras tatra na muhyate. Just like body, like it moves from small child is there, it goes to a teenager, then a youth, then old age. Similarly, the body, what happens that when the soul sees that this body has become old, body of no longer any use, what happens? The soul will take a new body. And dhiras tatra na muhyate. A person, a sober person, an intelligent person, a self-realized person, so that person is never gets affected or impacted by this kind of changes in the body. That he says that, there he says that jatasya dhruvo mrityu dhrubam janma mritusya tasmat apari arya arte tattam sochitum arhasi. Is that just like the body is there, so birth is there, similarly death is also certain. It's not that birth keeps on happening, death is also keeps on happening. So when a person will die, then surely a person is going to die, that is confirmed, that is guaranteed. Similarly, what is going to happen? Next life, a person is again going to get new body. Then again Krishna quotes, Vasam se jirani yatha vihayo navani grihnati naro parani tatha sarirane vihaya jirani anyani samyati navani tehi. Just like our clothes become old, we like discard the cloth. Similarly, the body becomes old, body is diseased, then what we do? We discard the body. And what we do? We take a new body. And then with today's verse, it is related that just like the sky remains undivided, because with material understanding, things sometimes becomes clear for us to understand. So here Abdul Brahman is comparing that the sky remains undivided, similarly soul is undivided. Nothing can harm the soul. So then Krishna quotes that famous verse, Nainam Chintanti Shastrani, that nothing can, soul can never be cut into pieces by any kind of weapon. Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka, that even if soul is put in a fire also, then it is not that the soul is going to get burned down. Nothing is going to happen. Then it says that Na Chainam Kledyanti Yapo. Even water also cannot moisten. So someone will like dive into the swimming pool, it does not, body becomes wet, but the soul will not become wet. Na Chainam Kledyanti Yapo, Na Sosati Maruta. So by the wind, the soul never gets withered also. The soul is always eternal. Soul is always pure. Soul can never be harmed. Soul is always eternal. So again and again, Krishna keeps on quoting all these verses. Now in the modern age, many people will have doubt that all these things were spoken 5,000 years ago. Krishna spoke. It's a Hindu scriptures. Many people have this kind of understanding. Like recently, one school we had gone to give Gita to students. So one student came to the principal and said that, I cannot take Gita because my family members will not allow, because I belong to some non-Hindu family. So that is why he was not ready to accept Gita, because people think that Gita is some kind of a Hindu book, sectarian book. But whatever knowledge or understanding which has been given in Bhagavad Gita, so that is true for all the jivas. Everyone who is in this entire universe, it is true for all. And whatever, for example, Krishna talks about soul. So soul keeps on taking new bodies. So there is a concept of reincarnation. So recently also in this year, 2025 only in June month, Reader's Digest, there was a big article published about reincarnation. There were many examples also, there were like quotation examples also, where many people still, like we had heard about Jan Stevenson, so he was at University of Virginia, so he used to do all kind of research. And after that, there is another doctor, Dr. Tucker, some spelling is there. So he is there. So he is also after Jan Stevenson. So I think he retired because he grew old. And after that, he started doing all this research. And he also found several cases of reincarnation. So some of the facts I will like mention here. So one of the thing he mentioned is that not just in India, because India we say that it's because people follow or at least people are aware about Gita's knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam's knowledge. People may believe about soul, about reincarnation, taking rebirth. But the survey says that even in America, so almost 33% of Americans, including 29% of Christians, they believe in this concept of reincarnation. So they also have this idea. Although as per the religious text, there is only one life, and after that it is decided that whether they are going to go to heaven or they are going to go to hell. But even Christians also believe that there is reincarnation. Reincarnation is actually true. And even like Thomas Edison also believed in reincarnation. Some great scientists, philosophers, they also believed. And Henry Ford also, so he also believed in reincarnation. There is a statement of Henry Ford, I will read. So he started believing in reincarnation when he was 26 years of age. And when he came to know about this concept, then he became very happy. That he came to know it's not that whatever we are going to do only is confined to this life only, next life also we are going to get an opportunity. So he mentions that work is futile if we cannot utilize the experience we collect in one life in the next. When I discovered reincarnation, it was as if I had found a universal plan. Time was no longer limited. The discovery of reincarnation put my mind at ease. So he was extremely, you can say, relieved when he discovered that there is a concept of reincarnation. So in their research, they also found that there are like one children, he was very small. So he used to always say that he was shot dead. And then his family members and everyone saw that he had a birthmark. Like there was a birthmark from one left side of his head and the right side of his head. Something it was like that bullet entered like his head from left side and it came out from the right side. So that bullet mark was there as his birthmark. And he used to say that when he was very small, he might not be knowing also what does birthmark mean or what does these things mean, but he used to say that. And there was another person was there. So his name was Ran. So he, like when he was just 4 years old, then he became very much, you can say, restless kind of a child he became. And he started saying that I have a different family, why I'm here. So I was enjoying very luxurious life. I have been kept here. So he was saying that I have another family and all. So they started asking their parents that what kind of family and all. So they started saying that I belong to Hollywood. So I had all the nice bungalow was there, nice car was there. I used to be surrounded by people and all. So all these things he was saying. He was just 4 years old. So his parents thought that maybe he is thinking something about Hollywood movie, something like that. So they went out and they bought some book which was having some Hollywood, like some news, something like that. So they were showing his child that whatever was there in the pages about some movies, something like that. So when he started like turning the pages, so he was turning pages, he was getting excited. Then at one place he came and he pointed out, this is me. He saw one picture there in that magazine. He said that this is me. So his parents thought that how can he say these things and all. So, but later on when they started researching, they started like finding and started asking him that why you are saying that you are this person and all. They started narrating all the stories that I was like this, I was into Hollywood, I used to do this kind of movies, something like that. He used to say that. And then they started researching and they said that he used to identify himself with one name. So one name, I think Martin. So he used to say that I am Martin. So when they started doing research, that this Dr. Tucker only he came, and they found that whatever he is saying, it is actually matching. So they called his daughter, that person's Martin's daughter came, and like whatever he used to say, like almost 50% of the things, 50 things he identified with his previous life. What he used to say, that the place where he used to stay, the house where he used to stay, and because many things, personal things happen in the family. So everything he was able to narrate as it is. So this also like, he was like, they were confirmed that he is the person who was earlier, he was in Hollywood. He was like some Hollywood agent was there, and he also worked some in movies. So that he was in his previous life, and this life he had like taken birth in this way. So there are like many quotes where there in India, that Shanti Devi example, we all know that famous example, we all know, we have heard also. So that we know, but it's not just confined only to India, but also to outside India. And there is that fighter example also, we know that fighter plane pilot was there. He started, like one day he started saying all things and everything matched. So this concept of soul, to understand that we are not this body, but we are soul. So it is given in the scriptures, and there is also practical evidence also of this, that we are not this body, but we are soul. And again as a soul, we are taking new birth, new body we are getting. So once we get this understanding, and we are completely convinced, thoroughly we are convinced that we are eternal spirit soul, and currently we are just confined, just like a prisoner or some bird is confined or an animal is confined to a cage, then this material body right now we are confined. But when this body is going to die, it's not that everything is going to come to an end. Again, we are going to get another body. So if this understanding starts coming, then we can start looking at what is the permanent solution for the current suffering we are experiencing. Because in this world, whatever we do, we identify with ourselves with our body, and accordingly we start doing all those kind of activities. But that activities, because it said no, that our like proportional of suffering depends upon how much we are material attached. So if we are too much attached, we are going to suffer too much. If less attachment is there, less suffering is there. But as long as we are materially attached, what is going to happen? We are going to suffer. And in this world, how the world has been created, no matter whatever we do, there will be something which is going to make us unhappy, make us miserable. So in Bhagavad Gita, also Srimad Bhagavatam also, again and again this concept is highlighted. For example, we see the example of Chitraketu Maharaj also, that when his son died, because he had everything, but his son was not, he did not have any son. So sage Angira, he gave him benediction, you can have a son. He had a son. Unfortunately, his other wives poisoned the child died. And then Anarada Muni, Angira Muni, they come. And then what Anarada Muni does, he brings back the child. The child is dead, but he brings back the child again in the same body. And then the child starts preaching to King Chitraketu. And then he starts saying, and in that Bhagavatam verse it is mentioned, Jiva Uvacha. No, his name was Harsasok. No, his name was Harsasok. Jiva Uvacha it is mentioned. Because no, he is not Harsasok, he is some Jiva. Some soul is there, he is entered into this body, temporary, some arrangement has been made. And Narada Muni says that if you want, you can stay here. But he says that why should I stay here? Because when he came out, he understood that, and he starts asking that which species father they belong to. Because I was in demigod body, animal body, bird body, fish body, everybody I was there. So they belong to which parents of which body they are, which human species are there. And then he starts giving so many explanations that this material world is like a river. In river, we see that many objects keeps on flowing. In the material world, what happens? Many living entities are there. So in course of time, many things come in our life. Many people come to us. We become parents. Someone become our parents. Someone becomes our child. Someone becomes our friends. And then due course of time, what happens? That also goes away. Then he gives example of just like gold and ornaments, or right now we can say money, we can say currency. So right now with me, I will give it to some other person. Some other person will give it to some other person. Similarly, it says the soul keeps on moving from one body to next body to third body to fourth body. The soul similarly, it keeps on moving from one body to another body. And then one important thing, this person, that Jiva Vacha, when it is said, so he says that living entity is so pure, so sublime, that quantitatively it is, that living entity is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the size is very small, infinitesimal. So this is what in the purport we are reading, that what is the size of the living entities? 1/10,000. The tip of the hair, which we cannot, I think we cannot divide also, like even one part or two part also. This is not mentioning that the hair, but the tip of the hair, the front portion of the hair. We cut into 10,000 parts, then that is the size of the soul. The soul is very, 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 very small. So as compared, like a soul is small, but in spite of that, it has lots of energy. Many things as a soul we can do, but as compared to super soul, we are very, very small. So Prabhupada mentions a very important thing. Prabhupada says that living entities are responsible for their conditional life. So we cannot blame other person that some mother we are suffering. We are suffering not because other person is doing something harm to us. We are suffering because we had chosen a life because of which we are getting right now some reaction because of which we are suffering. And he said that, Prabhupada writes that, if he likes, Prabhupada said, if he likes, if you and I like, then we can come out of this material world. It depends upon liking. So if you are not coming out of this material world, it means that we do not want to come out of this material world. That is what Prabhupada is trying to say. So we are still too much attached to this material world and we want to be in this material world. And Krishna is there. So wherever we go, as we, like the second point is that it talks about the super soul. So wherever, although we come to this material world, Krishna creates this material world because we had so many unlimited material desires to facilitate our desires and to give us some important lesson that material world is not meant for us. Krishna has created this world, but although Krishna created, but he always resides with us also. So always within the core of our heart, Krishna is there. So that Istora Sarva Bhutanam Hriday Dese Arjuna Tisthati. So Krishna is there in the core of our heart. Then in Bhagavad Gita again it is mentioned that Sarvasya Chaham Hriday Sanivishto. So Krishna is where situated? He is situated in the core of our heart. And what he is doing when he is situated in the core of our heart? What Krishna is doing that? In 5.29 that verse is that Bhuktaram Tapsam Sarvaloka Maheswaram and Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the best well-wishing friend of all the living entities. Not one or two, but for all the living entities, the Supreme Lord is the best well-wishing friend. So as long as we are in this world, Krishna is there in the heart, but Krishna always wishes that what we should do, we should immediately try to return back to the spiritual world. What is Krishna expects from us? Krishna wants us to do the same thing. So here, when we are reading this section, so Uddhav also, for our benefit, he asked so many questions from Krishna. Then Krishna starts narrating that important incident where Abdut Brahman is giving so many important lessons. So Abdut Brahman, as we read in this section, that for an ordinary person, it was not possible to identify that Abdut Brahman, that he is a great devotee. But a great devotee can only identify a great devotee. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also we see that Sanatana Goswami pastime, we see that. And Sanatana Goswami, he is so desperate to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he comes to Varanasi, so where he is like, he comes to know that Mahaprabhu is staying at the house of Chandrasekhar. So he is sitting at the door of Chandrasekhar. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there is one person or great devotee is there, you go and call him inside. And then this person, Chandrasekhar, so he goes out and he sees everywhere, but he cannot see any devotee, and he returns back. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, did you find him? So that no one is outside. They said, no, is it that no one is outside? Can you check again? Then again he goes outside and he comes back. He says that, I see one person, one Muslim mendicant is there. That he says. So Mahaprabhu says that bring him in. Whoever is there, bring him in. And as soon as Sanatana Goswami comes inside, immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he does? He embraces him. And both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts, his tears starts coming from his eyes. Even Sanatana Goswami's eyes also like full of tears. So they both are embracing and they are like in transcendental ecstasy. So Sanatana Goswami at that time, his attire was not devotional attire. He was not wearing like Vaishnava cloth. He was looked like a Muslim mendicant. Long hair was there, beard was there, mustache was there. Cloth was also not proper. But the Supreme Lord could identify that he is the Supreme, that he is a great devotee. So that is how Krishna does not look that what we are wearing externally. Krishna will see that what is there within the core of our heart. So we can dress perfectly, but if our heart is not pure, then it is not going to attract the mercy of Krishna. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraces Sanatana Goswami, then one important thing he mentioned is that Krishna is so merciful that he has saved you from a hellish condition. That Maharorab hellish condition, he has saved you. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions to Sanatana Goswami. And why Maharorab? Because Sanatana Goswami at that time, both he and his brother Rup Goswami was working under Nawab Hussain. And they were what? They used to be indulging in all kind of sinful activities, especially sinful activities of killing animals. And in that purport, like Prabhupada also explains that Maharorab, some person is like indulging in all kind of whimsical animal killing, means any sort of animal killing, giving pain to any creature, then what is going to happen? A person is going to suffer like anything. It is like next life, or you can say when a person is going to leave his body. So now, this after 5-6 days, this new year is coming. And people are going to kill animals mercilessly, right? Because they want to celebrate. And for celebration, what they are going to do? They are going to kill so many animals. And they do not know that they think that it is celebration, it is festival, but that is going to create a hellish condition for them. So in this, for example, it is mentioned that Maharorab in that hellish planetary system, and the explanation is mentioned that there what happens, that animals who are killed, so they take birth again as Rorab. And they, what will do? They eat the flesh of people who have killed animal. When people have killed animal, they will go to that hellish planet. And those animals who have been killed, they will take birth again and as a Rorab, and they will eat the flesh of the living entities there. That is one kind of hell. Another famous hell is that is Kumbhi Pak, right? So in this world, people what they do? They kill animals and they fry in oil, right? Fry in oil, and they take different kind of preparation. So in Kumbhi Pak also it is mentioned that for those person who have been indulging in animal killing, and they have been cooking animal meat. They will be also put in hot oil and they will be also boiled. Just like animals are being boiled right now, so they are also going to be boiled. That is how people are going to suffer. And because of lack of spiritual understanding, knowledge, so people are doing such a great sin. That is why we see people say these days that the population of earth is decreasing. Slowly people are saying, because in hell it is increasing, because people are committing so many sinful activities, so going into hell. So I was reading, so there is one data, we can see like what kind of sin is there. So we can see one data is there, that in a year, so how much animal slaughter happens. It is mentioned that 900,000 cows are killed in a year, 1.4 million goats, 1.7 million sheep, 3.8 million pigs, 12 million ducks, 202 million chickens. On an average, 211 million fishes are killed daily. That is satisfy the so-called hunger of the people of this world. So we can understand that what destination all these people are going to get in future. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you are very, very fortunate that you have been saved. We are also very fortunate because of mercy of Mahaprabhu, mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have also been saved. Otherwise, because of lack of understanding, we could have also been indulging in those kind of sinful activities. It's not just about eating. It's also, as we understand from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so like a statement that we should also not associate with those people who are indulging in all kind of this nonsense, animal killing, slaughtering animals, destroying animals. So that also we have to be very much cautious. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraces Sanatana Goswami, praises him, that he is a great devotee, he says that Sanatana Goswami, although a great learned scholar, what he is saying that the first question he starts asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that, you tell me, who am I? The first question he asks that, who am I and why I am suffering because of threefold miseries. So here in this verse only when we are reading, so who am I is clear that we are not this body, but we are spirit souls. That is what is being cleared here, and that is what Mahaprabhu also clears. And then the second statement is that why we are suffering from threefold miseries. That Adi Daivik Klesh, Adi Bhautik Klesh, Adhyatmik Klesh. So what is the reason for our suffering? That is the first inquiry which Sanatana Goswami is asking. And he says that I do not know how I can be benefited. So I beg you, I pray you that tell me what is the best way by which I can understand the real goal of my life and I can perfect my life. So immediately when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, like in Krishna's pastime also we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna starts making Arjuna understand that you are not the body, but you are a spirit soul. And only when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the first instruction he starts giving Sanatana Goswami, the first statement he mentions is that Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nityada. That is the first thing he mentioned. That as a Jiva, first thing is that you are Jiva, you are a spirit soul, and your eternal identity is that you are the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the first instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives. So I will, and this is one is like what Prabhupada writes with the Bhakti Vinod Thakur's quote, then we can conclude it in 1 minute. So here Prabhupada very nicely explains, quoting Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Prabhupada says that Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains this verse as follows. Srila Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who am I? In answer, the Lord replied, you are a pure living entity. You are neither the gross material body nor the subtle body composed of mind and intelligence. Actually, you are a spirit soul, eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Soul Krishna. Therefore, you are his eternal servant. So this is what Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains this verse. Today's verse also, Abdul Brahman is saying the same thing. That we are eternal spirit soul, we are pure, we are sublime, we are uncontaminated. And as the eternal spirit soul, we are eternally part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we understand this concept very nicely, if we read Prabhupada's purport and we start contemplating upon it, because the first word mentioned is that a thoughtful sage. So we can start thinking about it, contemplating upon it, meditating upon it, that we are not this body, but we are spirit soul, and as a spirit soul, we are eternally part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then our life, our human life can also become perfect. So this is what I could understand by reading this verse and hearing Prabhupada's lecture. Thank you very much. If I committed any mistake, please forgive me. We can conclude now. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So today our Shivam Prabhu will share something about book distribution. Hare
Krishna. In book distribution, when we went, then we saw that people in the city are completely engrossed in Maya. They are doing sense gratification and they are feeling that they are happy, enjoying, and breaking all the regulative principles. Like while walking on the road only, they are breaking all regulative principles. And when we see this while doing book distribution, we feel we understand the value of the association of devotees which we have got. We are in so many good devotees are surrounding us, and also some people come and they criticize us while doing book distribution. This also like humbles us down. So we appreciate devotees more, and also this helps us when people come and criticize us while doing book distribution. So we can take shelter of Krishna more nicely. That please, like we can heartily pray at that time that please somehow help them. If they take book and they read, they can become devotees.